XRP and Ripple causing max pain in the community. This is truly where people get wrecked in asset classes. If your emotions look like the markets, you're going to get wrecked 100% of the time. And the reason why I'm starting my video like this, and I'm going to break down a lot of positive things around the market, is because what's made us wealthy in this asset class and outside is not emotion. It's stoicism. It's calmness. It's long-term strategies. Reverse engineer it to the daily activities and being consistent and disciplined. And mostly staying out of the get-rich-quick casino. Wealth is boring. Wealth is consistent. Wealth is discipline. Now, the interesting thing is we've kind of broken the money matrix. Money compounds every 7 years at 10%. But with a new asset class like cryptocurrency, that got thrown out of the water. We've grown our portfolios dramatically since 2020 to 2024, and we're about to do it again in 2025 to 2030. But understand this. What goes up must come down. First, they resist it. Then they sue it. Then they regulate it. Then they join it. Draper. And the longer they sue it, and the longer they hold on to something, needs to give you a hint that it's the most disruptive technology and probably one of the most disruptive companies to your new financial system. That's why I don't flinch. When Judge Torres delays it a little bit longer, you got to think about this logically for just a moment. Think about this. 5 years. Go do your research. Egregious cases don't even last this long. There's something deeper going on. Ripple beat the SEC. They beat them. XRP is truly one of the only cryptocurrencies with regulatory clarity. We have a pro-crypto president who is creating a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And we're about to listen to Bo Bynes, okay, who's in his cabinet, who is saying we want to buy as much as possible. We're also going to listen to Anthony Pompliano, how he talks about how the mortgage industry is now going to accept your crypto. Accept your crypto. Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to accept your crypto as legit asset classes to buy a home. We're also going to show how David Sachs, the crypto czar, is saying July is going to be huge. And I've showed you Howard Lutnick. Sorry, I'm trying to do it for my guy that keeps commenting. Lutnick. Love you, man. Howard Lutnick runs Cantor, right? He is the commerce secretary, guys. People will sit in a job for 30 years they hate to retire with $250,000, but they won't sit in an asset class for 6 years, patient, persistent, disciplined, and build a solid game plan to free their family for the rest of their lives. As Raul Paul says, you got 6 years. Don't F this up. All right, so let's dive right in. If you're new to my channel, I want to first of all say I love you and I appreciate you. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. I talk about my portfolio. I talk about my strategy, cash flow, deflationary assets, protection, and leverage. So if you stay till the end, I'll break down exactly what I do. I'll peel back the whole curtain. All right, here we go. Bo Bynes. He is the hold on, what's his title? I forget. Executive director? I forget his title. Wait. You'll have to look it up, but I'll look it up while we're doing this video.
We are certainly keen on the idea of accumulation. We've stated publicly that Bitcoin is digital gold. We believe it's in the best interest of the United States to garner as much as we can possibly get. I've said that at every conference that I've spoken at in the last 2 to 3 months. Now, obviously, this has to be done in budget neutral ways that don't cost the taxpayer a dime. The president was clear about that in the executive order. But I think we have some very creative minds, 2 of which are sitting up here with me. And I think we'll begin moving very quickly on that.
Boom. And I think that's Cynthia Loomis right there, right? So they want to accumulate. We'll look it up in just a minute. So someone comment down below. Bo Bynes is the executive director, I think. Digital assets. Hold on, let's look it up. Bo Bynes role. And I spelled his name wrong. All right, I'm wasting your time. You guys know he's in the White House. All right, so let's go over to Anthony Pompliano here. Bill Pulte just changed the housing market for millions of people. So he's talking about how the housing market now is going to be accepting our cryptocurrency for our loans.
Yesterday, the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, he threw an absolute missile into the national conversation around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Here's what he had to say. Bill said that after significant studying and in keeping with President Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, today I ordered the great Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare their business to count cryptocurrency as an asset for a mortgage. Now, why the heck does Bill Pulte have to do this? Well, for those of you that don't know, banks and places like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, when you've previously applied for a mortgage, they've simply said, we're not going to count your cryptocurrency as part of the assets when we underwrite that mortgage. It's kind of crazy. I went through this myself when I lived in Miami. I wanted to go buy a house, take out a mortgage. And when I went to the bank, they said, any crypto you own, that's a big fat zero when we evaluate what your assets actually are worth. Now, why is that? Well, they're volatile. They don't really understand it. And the bank didn't have a view on whether these assets would actually exist in the future or not. That's all behind us. BlackRock's got ETFs. Public companies are buying Bitcoin. The government actually likes Bitcoin now. And so, of course, the banks, they got to follow suit. And so this change at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I think will be the wedge into the market for every bank to start to look at cryptocurrency assets as part of someone's application for a mortgage. Now, you don't get punished for holding cryptocurrency if you want to go and buy a home. But first, before they do that, there's some nuances in the Bitcoin and crypto world that are very important. Take CASA's Nick Newman. He called out the fact that it looks like Bitcoin held in self-custody will not count as an asset for consideration on home loans. He believes that's a mistake. And he said to Bill Pulte that self-custody is fundamentally aligned with American values. It's trivial to prove ownership of Bitcoin in self-custody. I agree with Nick, and I actually believe that Bill Pulte also agrees as well.
Okay. So basically, you're seeing the transition from, now remember, everybody was running into cryptocurrency for decentralization. Well, not everybody. 5% of the population owns crypto and 95% of the population doesn't have access to it. But now it's the traditional banking system, guys. Coinbase is going to be a bank. Kraken's going to be a bank. Ripple's going to be a bank. I guarantee you. Okay. It is a transformation of our financial system into blockchain technology, cryptocurrency. You're either going to own the rails or you're going to consume the rails. That's it. There's no middle ground. Okay. Just in, Binance founder CZ says the current American dream is to own a home. The future American dream will be to own 0.1 BTC, which will be more than the value of a house in the US. This is a fact, guys. This is why I store my wealth outside of debts and non-negotiables, all my cash, my inflationary US dollar in Bitcoin and XRP. Okay. All my excess cash is stored in Bitcoin and XRP. It's either creating cash flow through dividends. When I get paid for my dividends, I'm getting paid in cash. Okay. I'm getting paid in your debt. If you don't beat inflation every year, if your boss doesn't give you a 2% raise every year, you become poor. So I transmute mine into something that's going to grow, and I'll cover that a little bit deeper on the back end here. Okay. Today, the House passed the Deploying American Blockchain Act of 2025. Next, heading to the Senate, the bill directs Secretary of Commerce to promote blockchain technology. Wow, Secretary of Commerce. You guys remember who that is? Howard Lutnick, the owner of Cantor, which he's going to be a billionaire in Bitcoin, that linked up with SoftBank, that is competing now with Strategy B. Just in, White House crypto czar David Sachs says July will be a big month with a bill signing, Genius Act clarity going into the Senate. I told you guys, I feel August is going to be bombastic. Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott says the crypto market structure bill will be done by September 30th, pushing past Trump's August deadline. Oh, is that good news or bad news? Pushing past September, October, August. Okay. I don't know if that's great news. Bullish news for Ripple. I love Ripple, man. I love Ripple. I'm pre-IPO Ripple. Number one holdings XRP. And again, hey, I believe it. That's the biggest thing that I want to say is conviction, man. I believe it. Nobody can FUD me in or out of my XRP. Nobody will FUD me in out of Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what comments are said. Like, I know my strategy, and my strategy is working. Like, it's working. I'm actually someone, I hear people say, in the comments, and I hear influencers saying that you can't get wealthy off Bitcoin. I'm like, that's wild. Like, what about leverage? I leveraged to buy a already 7-figure insurance company. Like, we already had our 7-figure firm. We bought a firm. We're already almost, the next month will already be there. So I took Bitcoin tax-free at 30% hurdle rate. I beat the hurdle rate by 36%. I bought a cash generator. Of course, you can build wealth with Bitcoin. You just have to know how to leverage properly. So new, Ripple integrates Wormhole to bring XRP Ledger and its EVM sidechains to 35 plus blockchains. Okay. Just in, CME's XRP futures hits 542 million volume in the first month, with 45% of trades from outside North America. Okay, so this is my financial ecosystem, and I'm just going to break this down. So I focus on cash flow. Okay, cash is trash. I transmute that cash flow into deflationary assets like Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, things that have specifically Bitcoin and XRP that have fixed supplies. That's where I store my cash. Okay, I also create with my cash flow, I put my excess money into dividends that pay me cash, and I de-risk that back because that's a higher risk part of my strategy. It's 10% of my wealth goes in there, 10% of my cash flow goes in there. It's one of my highest return strategies, but I de-risk. Okay, I de-risk into Bitcoin and XRP. I use insurance for protection, and I have leverage, which is crypto, and my Bitcoin as leverage. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. This is really important. Okay. Cash is trash. If you store your money in a bank, if you don't beat inflation of 2% every single year, you become poor. As you sat there from 2020 to 2024, a 19% cumulative inflation, that means your buying power went down 19%. America is the strongest currency in the world, has collapsed 97 to 99% since the Federal Reserve was created. They're not federal, nor are they reserve. They're here to balance out the job markets and control money supply, and they have not done a good job at it. Okay, study the Federal Reserve. They're not federal, nor are they reserve. Okay, they have not done a good job. So we caught the ball. America is at 120, heading to 130% debt to income ratio. The American credit cards right now are over $1 trillion. Okay, payday loans, things like that, or cash advance, or wait to pay things are through the roof. People are losing money left and right. So this big better bill is going to bring a lot of money into the economy. So you have to learn you're getting debt into your hands. You're going to get more money. That is debt. Okay. Unless you're able to beat inflation 2% every year. Okay. You're going to become poor. If they print more money and lower interest rates, it looks good because there's money coming in. But what are the wealthy going to do? They're going to take that wealth. They're going to buy real estate. They're going to buy Bitcoin. They're going to buy XRP. They're going to buy Solana. They're going to buy Ethereum. They're going to buy deflationary assets that have fixed supplies. They're going to buy a shitload of real estate. Because by 2030, we're going to go back into hyperinflation because they're going to print so much money that the markets are going to be overvalued. We're going to go into a golden era, guys. You're going to see some badass markets. But remember, just like I said, nothing in nature has a straight line. Nothing. What goes up always has to come down. Always. So you got to play that wave of energy. When you start to see that peak, you got to start saying, okay, this thing is going to, just like a roller coaster, it has to come down. So when you're going up, you got to start pulling before that roller coaster drops, and then get into things that have always been here. First annuity was in the Roman days. There's insurance, cash value life insurance. Okay, it's always going to be here. It is on the bottom of the risk pyramid. You got precious metals. You got real estate. Someone's always going to need a place to live. You got innovative companies. There's people that are doing LBOs that are buying, plumbing companies, AC companies, car washes, those types of things, right? I love putting my money in cash generating dividends that pay me passive income, and then I de-risk back into Bitcoin and XRP. So all I'm telling you is exactly what I do. Okay. But remember, I don't like getting paid in someone else's debt. I don't like the fact that my money sits in a bank and they take my money and they lend it out to the next person walking in. Put yourself in first position. Banks make money in 3 ways: interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So I just put myself in first position. We're making interest income. We're lending against ourselves and beating the hurdle rate. Right. And eventually we'll be able to do DeFi where I can lend it at my crypto out to other people. That's why the banks were upset. Now the banks are like, okay, we're going to get involved in it. That's why central banks are stacking gold. They're trying to rebalance their portfolios. They're going to start stacking Bitcoin. The government's going to stack Bitcoin. They're going to buy it in a budget neutral way. I believe they're going to revalue gold. They're going to just do an accounting mechanism. They're going to move the profit into Bitcoin. And it's just a new system, guys. Go watch Ready Player One. Go watch these movies. You're not going to stop this from changing. You're not going to stop AI. I mean, I went to the airport and picked someone up on Wednesday, and I was like, look at all these cars driving around with nobody in them. I think it's called Whammo or something like that. I'm literally like tripping out. There's now self-driving. Oh, what are they called? Whammo. You've seen those things? There's nobody driving the car. Could you think, like, imagine 10 years ago, would you imagine that there'd be cars driving around with nobody in them and picking people up and people are okay with that? That's going to be normal. That's going to be normal. And we're going to resist it, and then you're going to use it. You're going to resist it, then you're going to use it. And most of you aren't even going to realize that you're actually using crypto and you're using blockchain. You're still going to have your drunk uncle at the barbecue going, oh, cryptocurrency is a fraud. Hey, let me send you a transaction real quick to pay for the 12 pack that you got me. And he doesn't even know that he just transacted on XRP. It's a bridge currency. XRP is going to fix the liquidity crisis. XLM is consumer. HBAR, VeChain is supply chain management. And here's my wise counsel. Is in my academy, I share my exact portfolio, and I've shared with you guys. My top is Bitcoin. I'm sorry. Number 1's XRP. Number 2 is Bitcoin. So XRP, we hold it for our company. Number 2 is Bitcoin. We hold XRP for our company, and we hold some Solana and other assets too. But our main 2 for personal family is XRP, Bitcoin. Business is XRP, Bitcoin. Okay. My 3rd is, oh gosh, what do I always mix up the 3? I think it's Solana. Yep. Solana is number 3. XLM is number 4. HBAR is number 5. VeChain is a close 6. Okay. So I'm going to be consolidating. So I have many other cryptos, but during the bull run, I'm going to consolidate into those probably top 5, top 6. And I'm going to keep consolidating. And I'll probably end up, to be transparent, is Bitcoin as much as I can, XRP as much as I can, and Solana. That will be my solid portfolio. Okay. That's going to be like retirement legacy. Then from there, I'm stacking my monthly premiums. And so when this bull run hits, I pull and I max fund. I have two policies that need to be max funded. Okay. We have multiple policies. Our kids have policies with their little family banks, right? So I have 2 policies waiting to be max funded. Once I max fund those, then I'll ride those out. And then the next bull run, I'll probably, depending on if my wealth increases, I'll put up another policy to max fund. So then as we sit there, I have an insurance bank, and I have a Bitcoin and crypto bank. Eventually I'll be able to, leverage my XRP. We'll be able to store, we'll be able to do all these things with DeFi. There'll be so many options as you can do that. So I'll have a bank on this side with crypto, a bank on this side with insurance. And then now we're getting into real estate, right? So we're balancing out the portfolio. And then 10% I'm putting into high risk dividends that are, the 10% is producing the largest returns, but I'm de-risking. I don't play games, man. Every time I get paid monthly from those dividends, which are paying me a large amount every month, I de-risk back into Bitcoin and XRP. And that's how I did it. And the key to this, though, is discipline, consistency, put blinders on. Don't listen to all the bullshit. Don't listen to all this noise. Don't get all caught up in this emotion and arguing with people. It's like, if you don't believe at a deep level what you're investing, you should not be invested in it. And this is a hard truth that people need to accept. If you're constantly on someone else's profile commenting about their strategy and trying to convince them that it's wrong, that means you don't believe in yours. A man or woman who is convicted in their belief system. Think of John the Baptist, the greatest. I love the story of John the Baptist. You couldn't FUD him in. You couldn't FUD you out. He was walking around. He's like, someone greater than me is coming. I don't care what you say. He wasn't on, if he was on Twitter, he wouldn't be on Twitter like, oh, your strategy is wrong. No, guess what? Someone greater than us is coming. And they chopped his head off because he believed in Jesus Christ. That's called conviction. Now take that down into your asset class. If you truly believe in something, you don't spend an ounce of your soul or time on another man or woman's profile telling them they're wrong because you're too busy getting your shit together. That's why I say it every single time. I'm talking to myself. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. I'm literally looking at myself in a mirror. I can't see you. It's a reminder to myself to get focused, JB, to stick with positive, uplifting people who are feeding your soul and your ecosystem, who are in alignment with what you're doing, who believe in God, and who walk the way, the truth, and the life. Like, this stuff is serious to me. Legacy is really a big deal to me. And so I love you guys, man. I really, really, really do. And I'm so unbelievably grateful. Like when you guys come up to me in public, I just love it. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful for it. And I do not take any of this for granted. I've been thinking about that a lot. And, you know, this is probably people that have been with me for a long time or watching this far. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm super grateful to have this platform, and I do everything I can. Like, you know, you're seeing a lot of downfall of influencers, and this is the area of that. This is the area of authenticity. You're seeing in all different spaces. You're seeing it in financial. You're seeing it in the cryptocurrency industry. You're seeing it in the fitness industry. You're seeing a massive downfall of these influencers. And the word influencer, I think, is the thing. It's like, we're just creators, man. We're just sharing authenticity. And I've been watching this stuff and studying it, and I'm like, man, it's losing the ability to be grateful for what you have and understanding that this is all temporary, right? This is all temporary. All this is temporary. All this can be taken from me tomorrow, right? But what can be taken from me is my love for humanity. What can be taken from me is my love for my family. What can be taken from me is my love for God and Jesus Christ. And if I stand on that, and, you know, I study the opposite too, looking at how dark things can get, and I check myself every day. I look in the mirror and I say, hey, did you do things to move your needle forward? Okay, did you stay out of other men's business? You're too busy working on yours. So my point behind that is I am super grateful for this platform, and I'm super honored to be here with you guys, and I don't take it for granted. And I do truly love you guys, and I honor you guys, and I want to thank you, and I know our community thanks you as well for giving us this platform, and we take it very seriously. So thank you. I love you guys. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.